What they didn't know was that from the moment water began to flow through those pipes, a toxin was being unleashed, a poison without smell, without taste. If I told you that a dish once considered a symbol of power and luxury in ancient Rome was also one of the factors that helped weaken the empire's ruling class, what would you think? Did you know? Thousands of years ago, at the very heart of the mighty Roman Empire, the aristocracy lived lives so extravagant they defied belief. Banquets that stretched deep into the night. Dishes fit for the gods. Goblets of sweet, intoxicating wine. But what none of them realized was that with every moment of opulence, they were taking another step closer to death. Imagine this, gentle music playing in the background, candlelight flickering against golden cups. And in the midst of this seemingly perfect moment, an invisible poison was quietly seeping into every sip of wine, every bite of food. Have you ever wondered? Could this great civilization have been hiding a dark secret? Could history's most powerful rulers have been the slowest suicides of all? Today, we pull back the curtain on this chilling truth. The Romans took great pride in their inventions, especially their water supply system. They believed their lead water pipes were a marvel of the world. What they didn't know was that from the moment water began to flow through those pipes, a toxin was being unleashed, a poison without smell, without taste. Lead, or plumbum in Latin, was everywhere. In the wine cups they drank from. In the food they savored. Even in the cosmetics Roman women used to enhance their beauty. It wasn't just a metal. It was a curse. Lead silently ravaged their bodies, causing blinding headaches, hallucinations, and eventually, a slow decline in mental sharpness. According to modern research, just 80 micrograms of lead a day can put a person at risk of severe neurological damage, and Rome's nobility consumed several times that amount. Could the erratic decisions of certain emperors have been the result of this metal poisoning? Could this explain the terrifying cruelty of Caligula? Or the contradictory decrees of Nero? Was part of the empire's collapse the price of their own ignorance? Let's find out. 1. The disease of kings and the agony of power. For Romans, eating wasn't just survival, it was competition, a status display. At banquets that lasted hours, even entire days, the ability to keep eating was proof of one's wealth and power. They would eat until they vomited, then return to the table as if nothing had happened, with special rooms, the so-called vomitoria, prepared for this purpose. And their feasts weren't limited to red meat and wine. Picture this, rich goose liver fattened by a special method. The tongues of flamingos, so rare they were reserved for imperial banquets. And hundreds of exotic seafood dishes shipped from far-off shores like the coasts of North Africa or islands in the Atlantic, all served on gleaming silver platters, golden bowls encrusted with jewels, and rare, delicate glassware. It was the pinnacle of indulgence, and the perfect recipe for disaster. These foods were loaded with purines, which the body breaks down into uric acid. In massive daily quantities, the body simply couldn't flush it all out. And from these divine dishes came the seed of a crippling disease. That disease was gout, the disease of kings. This wasn't just ordinary joint pain. The agony struck not only the toes, but knees, ankles, elbows, with joints turning red, swollen, and burning as if set aflame. A mere brush of air across the skin could make sufferers writhe in torment. Imagine a once mighty general, a man who had led thousands into battle, riding fearlessly across the fiercest battlefields, now lying helpless in bed, unable to move. As microscopic uric acid crystals tore his joints apart like shards of glass embedding into soft tissue. Ironic, isn't it? The very wealth and power they flaunted became the force that stripped them of their strength and dignity. But that was not all. If Roman men had to endure excruciating physical pain, Roman women were facing another tragedy, a tragedy of beauty. 2. The deadly secret behind the perfect face. In ancient Rome, beauty was more than something to admire, it was a political statement. In palaces, at grand feasts and solemn ceremonies, beauty was a soft weapon, capable of opening doors to power no sword could force. Flawless white skin was proof you did not toil under the sun, a mark of supreme status and an unspoken declaration, I belong to the upper class. To achieve such porcelain skin, Roman women used a special powder, white lead, ceruse, mixed with vinegar and costly aromatic oils. It was so fine, so soft, it seemed harmless. But hidden in every grain were invisible killers. Each layer of powder didn't just conceal imperfections, it laid down a slow-acting venom that seeped through the skin, into the bloodstream, beginning its work of destruction. Lead poisoning began subtly. First, just a rash, something that seemed trivial. But soon, that flawless complexion was eroded, ulcerated, raw flesh exposed beneath. Hair fell out in clumps, leaving patchy bald spots. Teeth, once bright and proud, turned black, crumbling away. The body grew weaker, the mind foggier. Archaeologists have unearthed the teeth of Roman noblewomen, their enamel eaten away, undeniable proof of chronic lead poisoning. Skeletons revealed lead levels many times beyond the safe limit, testimony to the fatal price they paid. And here's the most horrifying part, the more their faces were destroyed, the more makeup they applied to hide the scars. And so, they stepped into an endless, inescapable cycle. Worse still, the thicker the powder, the faster the toxin seeped in, and the more horrifying the destruction became. They did not know, or perhaps chose not to know, that every time they looked in the mirror and added another layer of white powder, they were shortening their own lives. With their own hands, they painted the death sentence for themselves, using the very thing they believed was beauty. They would rather die in an illusion of perfection than live a life deemed inferior. A bitter trade, if ever there was one. The Roman banquet, the symbol of supreme luxury, was in truth a gilded cage. Men crippled by the agony of gout. Women wasting away under the tyranny of beauty. Two sides of the same coin, both ending in self-destruction, and it leaves us with one haunting question. If a civilization as mighty as Rome could fall partly because of seemingly harmless indulgences, are we making the same mistakes today, only in different forms? Their story is a costly warning to anyone chasing glittering illusions at the expense of truth. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think is history's darkest secret? Do you know another tale of luxury that ended in tragedy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss the next gripping and mysterious tale.